for LowKick MMA. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Jack Hermansson. I've had his fight with Sean Strickland on Feb 5th. How's it going, Jack?
It's going well. It's going well. I'm in Vegas now and preparing, acclimatizing. So all according to plan.
How long have you been in Vegas for?
I came in on Saturday, so almost a week now.
And do you like to get in early for these type of fights? Obviously, it's a long travel for yourself. So how do you approach that?
Yeah, definitely. Since it's a 9 hours time difference, and also the air is a little bit different here, so it takes some time to acclimatize and adapt. So yeah, I definitely like to come in a little bit early.
Good. Are you feeling all acclimatized now?
Almost, but it definitely takes more than a week actually before you can feel like I feel pretty good now, but in your training sessions, that's when you feel like there's something off. Your heart rate goes up a lot more, and you feel like really dry in your throat and so on. So still gonna need a couple more days before I'm 100%.
You'll get there, I'm sure. And you mentioned there the training. I'm just interested about the camp. Is there anything specific for this camp that you've brought for the opponent, or is it just going through the motions as you do with every camp?
Yeah, kind of similar as the other camps, but you have your sparring partners to mimic your opponent, and my coach is setting up the technical repetitions for the techniques that we're gonna use in the fight and so on. So it's always fight specific, but overall the structure has been the same.
Good, man. And before we get into what's next for you, I just want to take a few moments just to speak about what happened last year and reflect on 2021. Obviously, it was just the one fight for you, Edmund Shabazian, back in the win column. How do you reflect on the last year?
Yeah, obviously I like to fight more than once a year, but we only got one fight, and I was happy that I got the win because I came in pretty bad shape since I had COVID just a couple of weeks before. The fight was actually meant to be happening 2 weeks before, and then it got rescheduled because of me getting sick. So with everything leading up to the fight, I was happy to get the win. But I definitely prefer to fight more than once a year.
Yeah, and you stayed busy during your time off. Obviously, you got into a wrestling match with Khamzat Chimaev. I just want to, get your thoughts on how that actually all come about, because it was, from a fan perspective, it was great to see. From your side, how did that all play out?
His team reached out to us and asked us if we were interested, and it's a cool challenge, so I was up for it. Obviously, it didn't go my way, but it was a fun thing to do, and you always learn something from competing, even if it isn't in MMA. So it was a fun thing.
And as you said, it was a fun thing, but did you approach it that way? Or I'm always intrigued with these grappling matches, how much the fighters or competitors put into it. Did you approach it as an actual fight or just a bit of fun?
No, I we're competitors, as you say, and obviously it's not as important for me as a MMA fight, but I hate to lose, and it stings either way, even if it was supposed to be a fun thing, it's always, competition is competition. So I definitely approached it as in a serious manner.
Yeah, and people are intrigued to hear your opinion on Khamzat, because obviously not only are you from the same place, you're one of the top guys who's actually been in with him. So in terms of comparing him to other people and the grappling you faced in MMA, how does he stack up?
I feel like he has two things that's very, very special about him, or three actually. One, he is a extremely good wrestler, and two, he's ridiculously strong for a welterweight. Just extremely strong. He looks tall and lanky, but very, very, very strong. And 3, I've been training with him as well, so I know that he has a punch. He has a lot of power in his punches as well. So yeah, you definitely feel like he could easily be a light heavyweight, when it comes to strength and punching power. So that's the most impressive things about him, in my belief.
Yeah, and obviously you've got 2 separate, missions at the minute. You're on the route for middleweight gold. He's hunting welterweight, but it's got to be asked, do you think down the line this is a fight that might happen? Obviously, it'd be huge for MMA in Sweden, and I imagine obviously after losing in the grappling match, you'd want to get that one back.
Yeah, if it would be like for right now, I would love to have a rematch in grappling, in submission wrestling, which I feel like that's my area. He's a freestyle wrestler, and I see myself as grappling, submission wrestling. That's my best skill. So I would love to have a rematch in that. And when it comes to MMA, I definitely think that there's a possibility we're gonna fight, but I don't think that's the fight to do at the moment. It has to be in the right timeline. As you mentioned, he's hunting the gold in welterweight. I'm hunting the gold in middleweight. I'm not fighting in both weight classes. He does. So if he is on his way up in my weight class, and we are getting closer to each other, definitely that's a fight that we could do. But for right now, I don't see that fight happening in the closest time, but possible in the future.
Yeah, and we'll focus on right now, because you've got a tough task ahead of you. Sean Strickland, Feb 5th, main event. First off, before we get into his skills, what do you make of him as a person? Obviously, he's causing a bit of a stir with his social media antics and all them type of things. Do you pay much attention to that?
Yeah, you hear about it, and everybody's asking me about it as well. So, but I don't, it's not gonna change anything when it comes to our fight. But he's definitely a character, and I never got so many messages from people that want me to beat a person as Sean Strickland. So obviously, people has an opinion on him. And that's always good to get some attention to the fight. So I'm happy with that.
One of the major things that he did that kind of caused a bit of commotion is he posted that sparring video where he kind of drops him on the head kick. Did you see that? And if so, what did you make of that?
Yeah, he has posted like both videos when he's knocked out his sparring partners, and I think that's not too uncommon. So he likes to spar hard and go all the way. For me, I have way too few sparring partners to to knock them out. I have to be a little bit more careful with them. I don't think it's necessary to do that. But yeah, everybody has a different approach to the game, but that's not my approach. But yeah, it's working for him.
Yeah, and it has been working for him lately. Obviously, since moving to middleweight, I think he's on a 5-fight win streak. He's looked really, really good, really strong. So I just want to get your opinion on him as an opponent.
Yeah, I think he's a solid opponent. He has a great record, and yeah, he's good at winning fights. He has great cardio. He's very, very tough, and he can push the pace in a fight. Good boxing. So yeah, a tough fight for anybody, I think.
Yeah, and you've just mentioned a few of his strengths there, but I'm sure, through camp and through studying him, you've found a few weaknesses. And when you're looking at him as an opponent, what are you seeing that might be an area to exploit for yourself?
I feel like he is kind of giving the same look in most of his fights. He's going forward, and the way he moves is kind of similar in all of his fights. So I feel like, even though it's hard to handle that kind of style, I think we understand what he brings to the table, and that makes it a little bit easier to prepare for. So, but he's a well-rounded fighter. He can be very opportunistic. I don't feel like he always has a plan. He kind of just fights until, you know, goes on when it where the fight goes. And I think that's leaves an opening for me to dictate where the fight is gonna be.
Yeah, and you're saying there you see openings. So when you're envisioning the fight and how it plays out, how do you think you're gonna get your hand raised in this one?
I just see myself doing it early. You know, I don't want a long, tough, grueling fight. I want a quick one. I want a clean finish. That's the most important part. I wanna show everybody that you know, I can do something to Sean Strickland that nobody else can do, and that is gonna be my most important message from this fight. So that's my goal, an early finish.
An early finish, and how do you see it coming? You know, on the feet with the hands or on the floor with submissions? I know you've got both.
Yeah, you know, I have more finishes on the ground, so that's more likely. But you know, as soon as I see an opening, even if it is in the stand-up or if is on the ground, as soon as I see an opening, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, and if it all goes to plan here, early finished, huge name on your record, and then you've got the whole of 2022 to look forward to. We spoke about it earlier. You weren't too happy fighting once in 21. How many times do you want to fight this year?
I would prefer to fight 3 times, but that is not as important as who I am fighting. That's the most important part, you know. And the higher you climb up in the rankings, the fewer opponents will be available, especially if you already fought some of them. So you know, the possibilities are narrowing down.
Yeah, and where do you think a win here places you? Obviously, it's a huge win to get on your record, but as you said, you're also coming off a fight recently against Vettori and things like that. Do you think you're like 1 or 2 away from a title shot after this one?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I can't see who else is it gonna be. You know, you have Brunson and Cannonier, and that's about it. And Cannonier has already fought Whittaker, and Brunson has already fought Adesanya. So I think you know, me against anybody of them is gonna make for an exciting fight and something new that the fans haven't seen before.
Yeah, and there's so much going on at middleweight at the minute. So I've got to just ask you about a few of these fights that are coming up, and we'll start with obviously the big one, Israel Adesanya against Robert Whittaker 2. What do you make of the matchup? How do you see it playing out?
It's gonna be a good one, and I feel like it's gonna be a tougher fight for Adesanya this time. Whittaker has definitely done some adjustments, and I wouldn't be surprised if Whittaker is going to use his wrestling a little bit more in this one. But I see Adesanya coming out as the winner. So, yeah.
And with Adesanya, obviously, a lot of people since seeing him against Jan Blachowicz think the way to beat him is wrestling, but is that easier said than done when you're fighting him at middleweight? Obviously, I think Jan, one of his biggest strengths in that fight is that he was so much bigger. Do you think it's going to be a tough task for someone like Whittaker to actually get him down and keep him down?
I think you know, the thing is that you have a guy like Whittaker who is a good wrestler, but the question is he good enough on the ground when he is on top to keep him there, to advance, to finish him from there? You know, Adesanya might be able to get up, or you know, in the next round he might be able to hurt Whittaker on the feet again, and so on. So that's gonna be that's the question, and that's what we need to get the answer from. So I'm not sure. We'll see. But I know that you know, if I get somebody down, then they're in trouble, and that's not going to be any different with others. So that's why I think that I'm the biggest threat for him in the middleweight division.
Hopefully that's something we can see in 2022. And as you said, it looks like Jared Cannonier, Derek Brunson may be a #1 contender fight, although both of them are fairly recently fought against either guy in the next middleweight title fight. What do you think about this matchup, and who do you think he will win it?
feel like Cannonier is gonna pull it off. I feel like Whittaker definitely is the better wrestler, but I don't think he's good enough on top to keep a Cannonier down. And I think that Cannonier is the better stand-up fighter. So I see Cannonier coming off with the win in that one.
Okay, and just a couple more. Obviously, we've got Imavov, who's been making some waves in the division as of late. A big win over Shabazian, a former opponent of yours, and then another former opponent of yours, Kelvin Gastelum, who's just struggling for any type of form at the minute. How do you see this one going?
Is Imavov and Gastelum fighting each other?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they were matched up. That's a really cool fight, though. And Imavov has, do I pronounce his name correctly? I'm not sure. He has been looking good, that's for sure. And but at the same time, we know that Gastelum, he's right up there. He can beat anybody on a good day. That's how good he is. So I see this one. It's going to be a close one. I feel like Gastelum is probably going to be very, very motivated in this fight. So yeah, I believe Gastelum actually is going to pull it off.
And just another big name at middleweight, Paulo Costa. Well, is he going to be at middleweight is my question. Obviously, the last time he didn't seem to bother making the weight at all. And now the UFC seem to want him to move up to 205, but they're resisting basically his team. So I just want to get your opinion on that whole situation and what the future holds for him. Should it be a 205?
Yeah, I don't think he's, I think that they will be able to get another try in middleweight, but I don't think he ever gonna make middleweight again. You see that, when people are starting to miss weights, yeah, and a guy, I don't really feel like he belongs in this. I think his time in the weight class is over. He might get another try, but I do not think he's gonna make it to make the weight.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting to see all this play out, and it all starts with you against Sean Strickland on Feb 5th, and I really can't wait for it, mate. I'm very thankful for your time today, and I wish you good luck with the rest of camp and your weight cuts and fight night. Can't wait to watch.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.